The large meeting room on the space station Harmony buzzed with voices. Representatives from 17 alien species gathered around the curved table. They came in all shapes and sizes. Some had too many limbs. Others had strange colored skin. A few didn't even breathe air like humans did. John Mitchell stood near the entrance, straightening his blue diplomatic uniform. His heart beat faster than normal. After 15 years as a diplomat on Earth, this was his biggest job yet. He was the first human ambassador to the Galactic Council. "Ambassador Mitchell, please join us," called a tall, insect-like creature from across the room. This was Ambassador Zextil of the Vrax, the aliens who had discovered Earth 6 months ago. John walked to his assigned seat. The chair adjusted to his human shape as he sat down. "Esteemed council members," Zextil began, his voice translated through the small device in John's ear. "Today we welcome humanity to our galactic community. Their planet Earth has much to offer, but most valuable is their unique gift for peacekeeping." John kept his face neutral, but he felt uncomfortable. The Vrax had spent months studying human history. They had focused only on the parts they wanted to see: the United Nations, peace treaties, and conflict resolution efforts. Zextil continued, clicking his mandibles with enthusiasm. "Humans understand both war and peace intimately. Their history shows a species that has learned to settle differences without violence. Their diplomatic skills have prevented countless conflicts on their world." A blue-skinned alien with 4 arms raised one limb. "I have concerns. Humans also have a history of extreme violence. Their wars have nearly destroyed their own planet, several times." John prepared to speak, but Zextil answered first. "Yes, Council Member Prell. This is precisely why humans are valuable. They know the cost of war better than any of us. They have moved beyond their violent past. Now they use that knowledge to maintain peace." John shifted in his seat. This wasn't completely true. Humans hadn't really changed their nature. They had simply grown tired of killing each other after centuries of war. The peace on Earth was more like an exhausted truce than a true change in human nature. "Ambassador Mitchell," said another alien, this one floating in a liquid-filled container. "Would humanity be willing to serve as peacekeepers in our troubled regions?" John had been briefed about this request before the meeting. Earth's leaders had already agreed. Humans would gain access to advanced alien technology in exchange for their peacekeeping services. "We would be honored," John replied carefully. "Our peacekeeping forces are well-trained and ready to help maintain stability wherever needed." The council members made sounds of approval. John looked around the table and realized none of them truly understood humans. They saw only what they wanted to see: a species of natural mediators and peacekeepers. What would they think if they knew the full truth? Humans weren't peaceful by nature. They were predators who had simply learned to control their violent instincts. Sometimes. The meeting continued for 3 more hours. By the end, the council had approved sending human peacekeeping forces to 12 different conflict zones across the galaxy. John returned to his quarters on the station afterward. He called Earth to report the results. "It's done," he told General Laura Harris, who headed Earth's new interstellar defense force. "The council has accepted our offer of peacekeeping troops." Laura's face on the screen looked serious. "Did you tell them the truth about us?" John shook his head. "They wouldn't have understood. They believe we're natural peacekeepers, Laura. They think we've evolved beyond violence. That could become a problem," she said quietly. "I know. But this is our chance to join the galactic community. We need their technology if Earth is going to survive the next century." Laura nodded. "I've selected our best troops for the peacekeeping missions. The first teams leave tomorrow." "Make sure they understand the importance of restraint," John emphasized. "The aliens are watching us. We need to prove we belong in their peaceful vision of the galaxy." "They'll maintain discipline," Laura assured him. "But I hope these aliens never give our people a reason to show their other side." John ended the call and walked to the window of his quarters. Outside, countless stars filled the blackness of space. Somewhere out there, human soldiers would soon patrol alien worlds. The council saw them as perfect mediators. John saw them as wolves in sheep's clothing. 2 weeks later, Captain Lisa Reeves stood on the bridge of the transport ship Star Voyager. Her team of 30 peacekeepers prepared for landing on the mining moon Series 9. Through the view screen, she could see the gray, cratered surface below. "Final briefing, everyone," Lisa called to her team. They gathered around, dressed in the blue uniforms of Galactic Peacekeepers. Each carried only light weapons, stun batons and low-powered energy pistols. The Council had insisted on minimal armament. "Series 9 has 2 alien mining groups fighting over territory," Lisa explained. "The Morax claim the moon belongs to them, because they arrived first. The Telvari say they have ancient rights to the minerals. Our job is simple: keep them from killing each other while they negotiate." Sam Bailey, her second-in-command, raised his hand. "What's our authority here, Captain?" "Observation and mediation only," Lisa answered. "We can physically separate fighters if needed, but we're not taking sides. The Council was very clear about that." "Seems like a waste of our training," muttered Alan Wright, the communications specialist. Lisa gave him a sharp look. "Our job is to keep peace, not enforce it. Remember your training and follow protocols." The ship landed near the main settlement, a collection of domed buildings connected by covered walkways. Representatives from both alien factions waited as the humans disembarked. The Morax were tall and muscular with gray skin that looked like stone. The Telvari were shorter with smooth green scales and large black eyes. Both groups watched the humans with obvious suspicion. "Welcome to Series 9, said the Morax leader, his voice deep and gravelly. "I am Grawl, mining chief. We hope your presence will make the Telvari see reason," the Telvari representative hissed. "The Morax steal what is rightfully ours. We expect true neutrality from you humans." Lisa stepped forward. "I am Captain Lisa Reeves. We're here as neutral peacekeepers. We have no interest in taking sides, only in preventing further violence while you work out your differences." Both alien leaders seemed satisfied with this answer, but Lisa noticed how they glared at each other when they thought no one was looking. "Let me show you to your quarters," Grawl offered. As the human team followed the aliens into the settlement, Lisa whispered to Sam, "Stay alert. I have a feeling this won't be as simple as the Council thinks." Sam nodded. "These aliens have no idea what they're playing with, do they?" Lisa looked at her team of peacekeepers, all combat veterans who had seen the worst of humanity's capacity for violence. "No," she said quietly, "they really don't." 3 months passed on the mining moon of Series 9. The human peacekeepers had established a routine. They patrolled the borders between Morax and Telvari mining areas. They watched both sides carefully. They broke up small fights before they grew into bigger ones. Lisa Reeves sat in her office in the human compound. The walls were plain metal. A map of the mining territories hung on one wall, marked with colored pins showing patrol routes. She looked tired. Dark circles showed under her eyes. Sam Bailey entered the room carrying 2 cups of coffee. He placed one on Lisa's desk. "You look like you need this," he said with a small smile. Sam had been Lisa's friend for years. They had served together in Earth's military before joining the peacekeeping force. Lisa took a sip and nodded her thanks. "Any problems on the morning patrol?" "Just the usual name-calling and rock-throwing," Sam reported. "Nothing serious." Lisa leaned back in her chair. "We've kept them from killing each other for 3 months. I suppose that's something." "The Council seems happy," Sam said. "I saw the last report from Ambassador Mitchell. They're calling our mission a success." Lisa snorted. "Success? We're babysitting 2 groups who hate each other. Nothing has changed. The moment we leave, they'll be at each other's throats again." Before Sam could answer, there was a knock at the door. Alan Wright, the communications specialist, stood there looking worried. "Captain, can I talk to you?" Alan asked. "It's important." Lisa nodded. "Come in, what's the problem?" Alan closed the door behind him. "I've been monitoring the Morax communications like you asked. They've been hiding something." This caught Lisa's attention. "What did you find?" "Chief Grawl has been lying about their mineral exports," Alan explained. "The numbers don't match what's being shipped off Moon. There's a big difference." Sam frowned. "Maybe they're just hiding profits to avoid taxes." Alan shook his head. I don't think so. I confronted Grawl privately. He got nervous, then admitted they'd been stockpiling weapons beneath the northern ridge. Lisa stood up quickly. What? That violates our peace agreement. Both sides promised no weapons beyond basic mining tools. Grawl said the Telvari can't be trusted, Alan continued. He thinks they're planning to wipe out the Morax once we humans leave. Lisa paced the small office. We need to investigate this. Sam, take a team to... A massive explosion cut off her words. The whole building shook. Dust fell from the ceiling. Alarms began to wail throughout the compound. What was that? Lisa shouted, rushing for the door. The three ran outside. Black smoke rose from the eastern side of the human compound. People were shouting. Some were running toward the smoke, others were running away. Medical team to the east barracks now, Lisa ordered into her communicator. She sprinted toward the smoke with Sam and Alan following. The east barracks had a huge hole, blown in one wall. Parts of the building were on fire. Human peacekeepers were pulling injured comrades from the wreckage. Get those fires out, Lisa commanded. Secure the perimeter. For the next hour, the humans worked to rescue survivors and treat the injured. 3 peacekeepers had died instantly in the explosion. 5 more were badly hurt. Among the dead was Eric Ross, a young peacekeeper on his first mission. Lisa had just spoken with him that morning. Now she looked down at his still body. Covered with a sheet, Sam approached her, his face dirty with soot. His eyes were hard. It was a Telvari explosive device. We found pieces of it in the wreckage. Are you sure? Lisa asked quietly. Positive. It matches their mining charges, but it was modified to be more deadly. This wasn't an accident. Lisa clenched her fists. I want to talk to the Telvari leader, now. The Telvari representative, a female named Sith, waited in the meeting room. Her large black eyes showed no emotion as Lisa entered. Captain Reeves, I have heard of the explosion. A terrible accident, Sith said, her voice hissing slightly. It was no accident, Lisa replied coldly. It was a Telvari bomb. Sith's scales rippled, a sign of anger. We did not do this. The Morax are trying to turn you against us. 3 of my people are dead, Lisa said, her voice dangerously quiet. I want answers. Perhaps some young Telvari acted foolishly, Sith admitted, but our leaders did not order this. We respect the peace agreement. If I find out you're lying, Lisa warned, there will be consequences. After the meeting, Lisa called her team leaders together. The mood was grim. Everyone had lost friends in the explosion. From now on, we go armed at all times, Lisa ordered. Full protective gear on all patrols. No one goes anywhere alone. Karen Phillips, the medical officer, looked concerned. The council ordered minimal weapons only. They wanted us to appear neutral and non-threatening. The council isn't here, Lisa snapped. I won't lose more people because we're trying to look friendly. That night, Lisa sent a message to Ambassador Mitchell on the Harmony station. She reported the attack and requested permission to search both Morax and Telvari territories for hidden weapons. The response came 12 hours later. Request denied. Maintain neutrality. Continue diplomatic efforts. Human patience is why you were selected for this assignment. Lisa read the message twice, not believing what she saw. Then she threw her communicator against the wall. Sam found her later, sitting, alone in the memorial room where pictures of the dead peacekeepers had been placed. The council said no, he asked, though he already knew the answer. Lisa nodded, her face expressionless. They think we can talk our way through this. They don't understand what's happening here. What do we do now? Sam asked. We follow orders, Lisa said, for now, but we also prepare for the worst. The next week was tense. The human peacekeepers continued their patrols, now wearing body armor and carrying energy rifles. Both the Morax and Telvari protested this show of force, but Lisa ignored their complaints. Alan continued monitoring both sides' communications. He discovered evidence that the Telvari were indeed planning something, though the details weren't clear. There's going to be another attack, Alan told Lisa. I just don't know when or where. Lisa had doubled the guards around the human compound. She ordered all mining operations watched closely. The humans were stretched thin, working long, hours with little rest. "We can't keep this up forever," Sam said during a late-night strategy meeting. "Sooner or later, someone will make a mistake." Lisa looked at the tired faces of her team. "The council doesn't understand what they've done. They put us here as peacekeepers but tied our hands. They think we'll stand by and keep taking losses." "What are you thinking, Captain?" Karen asked quietly. Lisa's eyes were cold. "They sent peacekeepers to Series 9, but maybe what this place really needs is soldiers." The human compound was quiet as they held funeral services for the 3 dead peacekeepers. Lisa stood in front of 3 simple metal boxes. Each box held a body. Each body had once been a person with hopes and dreams. Eric Ross had been just 25 years old. He had joined the peacekeeping mission to see the stars. Now he would return to Earth in a box. Doug Parker had been a veteran of Earth conflicts. He had a wife and 2 children waiting for him back home. They would wait forever now. Kelly Adams had been the team's best translator. She had learned both alien languages faster than anyone else. Her voice was silenced now. Lisa kept her face blank as she spoke a few words about each person. Inside, her anger grew like a fire. The council had put them here without enough protection. The council had refused to let them take stronger action. Now 3 humans were dead. After the ceremony, Karen Phillips approached Lisa. The medical officer looked worried. "Are you okay, Captain?" Karen asked quietly. "I'm fine," Lisa said flatly. But she wasn't fine. Nothing was fine. Karen didn't believe her. "I've known you for years, Lisa. I can see you're planning something." Lisa glanced around to make sure no one else could hear them. "The council doesn't understand what's happening here. They think we'll keep playing by their rules while our people die." "What are you thinking of doing?" Karen asked, her voice even lower. Before Lisa could answer, Alan rushed into the room. His face was pale. "Captain, we have another problem," he said urgently. "The water supply to our barracks has been poisoned." Lisa and Karen followed Alan to the medical bay. 5 peacekeepers lay on beds, their faces twisted in pain. Medical staff moved quickly between them, giving treatments. "How bad?" Lisa asked. 2 are critical," Karen said after checking the medical readouts. "The others should recover. We caught it early enough." Lisa's face hardened. "How did this happen?" Alan showed her a small device that had been removed from the water filtration system. "Someone planted this. It released a slow-acting poison into our drinking water." "Morax or Telvari?" Lisa asked. "The technology looks Morax," Alan admitted. "But it could have been made to look that way on purpose." Lisa called an emergency meeting with all remaining healthy peacekeepers. 20 humans gathered in the secure briefing room. Their faces showed anger, fear, and exhaustion. "Someone is trying to kill us," Lisa said simply. "The Galactic Council believes we should continue as neutral peacekeepers despite these attacks. I need to know where each of you stands." Sam spoke first. "The Council doesn't understand humans. They think we'll keep turning the other cheek forever. They're wrong." Nods of agreement came from around the table. "We've tried to follow the rules," said Paul Baker, a weapons specialist. "It's gotten our people killed." Karen looked troubled. "If we take action outside our orders, we could damage humanity's position in the Galactic Council. Earth needs their technology and trade." Lisa respected Karen's concern. "I understand the bigger picture, but our first duty is to the people in this room. I won't sacrifice more lives to please the Council." "What do you suggest, Captain?" Alan asked. Lisa laid out her plan. It was simple, but went against everything the Council had ordered. "First, we find and secure all hidden weapons, caches, both Morax and Telvari. Second, we take control of all communication systems on Series 9. Third, we establish new rules that both sides must follow, with real consequences for breaking them." "The Council will object," Karen warned. "By the time they respond, it will be done," Lisa replied. "Better to ask forgiveness than permission." They voted. The decision was unanimous. Operation Shattered Shield would begin at dawn. That night, Lisa sent one final message to Ambassador John Mitchell. It contained only a few words. Protocol Shattered Shield initiated. May history forgive us. She didn't expect a reply. The council would be too busy with their ceremonies and meetings to notice until it was too late. Lisa couldn't sleep that night. She walked to the memorial wall where pictures of the dead peacekeepers hung. She looked at each face. "I won't let more die," she whispered to the silent pictures. At dawn, the human peacekeepers moved. They split into 3 teams. Lisa led the first team toward the northern ridge where the Morax had hidden their weapons. Sam led the second team to secure the communications center. Karen led the third team to protect the human compound. The Morax, guards at the northern ridge, were surprised when 20 heavily armed humans appeared. These were not the friendly peacekeepers with minimal weapons. These were soldiers in full combat gear. "Stand aside," Lisa ordered the guards. "We know about the weapons cache." The Morax guards looked at each other nervously. One reached for his communication device. "Don't," Lisa warned. The guards stopped moving. "The council ordered you to maintain peace, not to raid our territory." The lead guard protested. "The council isn't here," Lisa replied coldly. "We are. Now move aside or be moved." The guards stepped back. They had seen the change in the humans' eyes. The pretense of being simple peacekeepers had vanished. Lisa's team found the hidden entrance to the weapon storage exactly where their intelligence had indicated. Inside were enough energy weapons and explosives to wipe out the entire Telvari population of Series 9. "Secure everything," Lisa ordered. "No one touches these weapons except us now." Meanwhile, Sam's team took control of the central communications hub. This was the only facility that could send messages off-moon. Both Morax and Telvari staff were ordered to leave. "What are you doing?" demanded a Telvari communications officer. "This facility is neutral territory." "Not anymore," Sam replied. "From now on, all communications go through us." By midday, the humans had control of all key facilities on Series 9. No blood had been shed. The show of force had been enough to prevent resistance. Lisa called both Grawl of the Morax and Sith of the Telvari to the human compound. They arrived separately, both looking angry and confused. "This is a violation of your peacekeeping mandate," Grawl rumbled. "You have no authority to take these actions," Sith hissed in agreement. Lisa stood before them, still wearing her combat gear. "Our mandate was to keep peace. We're doing that now, but on our terms." She explained the new rules. Both factions would continue mining operations, but under human supervision. All weapons beyond basic tools would be confiscated. Any violence would result in immediate punishment. "And if we refuse?" asked Grawl. "Then your people will be confined to their living quarters until the council sends someone to replace us," Lisa said simply. "Either way, the killing stops now." Both alien leaders protested, but they could see the determination in the humans' eyes. These were not the passive peacekeepers the council had promised. These were warriors who had been pushed too far. Later, that day, a council observer ship entered orbit around Series 9. They had finally noticed that something was wrong when all official communications ceased. "This is Captain Lisa Reeves," she transmitted to the ship. "The situation on Series 9 is now under human management. Any attempt to interfere will be met with resistance." The peacekeepers had become something else entirely. The council's mistake was now clear. They had misunderstood the most fundamental truth about humans. Peace was their preference, not their nature. Ambassador John Mitchell was enjoying a fancy dinner when he received Lisa's message. He sat at a long table with representatives from all 17 alien species of the Galactic Council. The room glittered with strange lights. Exotic foods filled plates made of materials humans had never seen before. The dinner celebrated 300 years of peace in the Orion sector. The aliens talked proudly about how their diplomatic skills had prevented wars. John listened politely, but his mind was elsewhere. His personal communication device buzzed quietly. John excused himself and stepped away from the table to read the message. His face paled when he saw the words from Lisa. "Protocol Shattered Shield initiated. May history forgive us." John knew what that meant. It was a plan created, but never officially approved. Human peacekeepers would abandon their neutral stance if they became targets. They would take control by force if necessary. He returned to the table, but couldn't focus on the conversations anymore. He needed to warn the council about what was happening. John approached the council chair, a tall blue being named Vreen. "Chairperson, I need to request an emergency session," John said quietly. Vreen's 4 eyes blinked slowly. "What is the nature of this emergency, Ambassador Mitchell?" "The situation on Series 9 has become critical. Our peacekeeping team has suffered casualties." Vreen made a dismissive gesture with one long arm. "The council is aware of the regrettable incidents, but this is hardly an emergency requiring a full session. Series 9 is simply a minor border dispute." "With all due respect," John insisted, "I believe the council misunderstands the seriousness of the situation." "Ambassador Mitchell," Vreen said firmly, "humans were selected as peacekeepers precisely because of your remarkable capacity for restraint. I'm sure your team will handle the situation appropriately." John wanted to explain that human restraint had limits, that when pushed too far, humans became something else entirely, but he could see that Vreen wouldn't listen. "Very well," John said stiffly, "but I request that my concerns be noted in the official record." "Of course," Vreen agreed, already turning away. John returned to his quarters and tried to contact Lisa directly. There was no response. All communications from Series 9 had gone silent. It had begun. On Series 9, Lisa stood in what had once been the Neutral Communications Center. Now it was the human command post. Maps of the mining moon covered the walls. Human peacekeepers, now looking more like soldiers, moved with purpose through the room. "Status report," Lisa ordered. Sam approached with a data tablet. "We've secured all weapons caches. The Morax had 3, the Telvari had 2. We've also established control of all key infrastructure." "Any resistance?" Lisa asked. "Minimal," Sam replied. Both sides seemed shocked more than anything. They really believed we would stay neutral no matter what. Alan joined them. "The Council observer ship is still in orbit. They've been sending messages demanding an explanation." "And our response?" "Just what you ordered," Alan said. "The situation is under human management." "Nothing more." Lisa nodded. "Good. Keep it that way for now." Karen entered the command post. She looked troubled. "I need to speak with you, Captain." Lisa followed Karen to a quiet corner. "The poison from the water system," Karen said. "I've completed my analysis. It wasn't Morax technology like we thought." Lisa frowned. "Telvari, then?" Karen shook her head. "Neither. The components came from both species, but the design. It's not like anything either of them would make." "What are you saying?" "I'm saying someone wanted us to think the Morax and Telvari were attacking each other," Karen explained. "Someone wanted us to take sides, or to give up and leave." Lisa considered this new information. A third party? But who would benefit from continued conflict here? Before they could discuss further, a loud alarm sounded. A voice called over, "The communication system. Captain Reeves to the landing bay immediately." Lisa rushed to the landing bay with Karen. A small shuttle had landed without permission. The door opened to reveal a single passenger, a Varax representative named Klavak. "Captain Reeves," the insectoid alien said, mandibles clicking nervously. "I come as a personal envoy from the Council." Lisa stood stiffly. "The Council ignored our request for help. Now they send an envoy?" "The situation has escalated beyond what we anticipated," Klavak admitted. "The Council wishes to understand your actions." "Our actions?" Lisa's voice was cold. "We watched our people die while the Council told us to maintain neutrality. We discovered plots to kill us from both sides. We acted to protect ourselves and restore true peace." The Vrax's antennae twitched. "This is not the behavior we expected from humans. You were chosen for your remarkable restraint and diplomatic skills." Lisa laughed without humor. "You misunderstood us from the beginning. Humans aren't natural peacekeepers. We're warriors who chose peace because we've seen the alternative." The Council demands that you return control of Series 9 to neutral authorities, Klavak stated formally. The Council is welcome to send those authorities, Lisa replied. But until they arrive, we maintain control. No more humans will die here. After the Vrax envoy left, Lisa received reports from other peacekeeping missions. On 7 different worlds, human forces had taken similar actions. Each had abandoned their neutral stance after suffering attacks. Each now controlled their assigned territories. The Council was in chaos. They had never expected their peacekeepers to become occupiers. Meanwhile, something strange was happening on Series 9. Under human supervision, the mining operations actually improved. Without the constant fighting, both Morax and Telvari workers could focus on their jobs. Lisa met with Paul Baker, who had been monitoring the mining operations. Production is up 30%, Paul reported, and there have been no fights between workers in 3 days. What about the leadership? Lisa asked. Grawl and Sith still protest our presence, Paul said. But the regular workers seem almost relieved. A young peacekeeper named Ryan Grant approached with a data tablet. Captain, I found something interesting in the mining records. What is it? Lisa asked. Ryan showed her the tablet. Both factions were reporting lower production numbers to their homeworlds than what was actually being mined. The missing minerals weren't being used for weapons like we thought. Then where were they going? Sam asked, joining the conversation. Ryan looked uncomfortable. I think someone was stealing them and using the conflict between the Morax and Telvari as cover. Lisa's eyes narrowed. This connects with what Karen found about the poison. Someone has been playing both sides against each other. That evening, Lisa called a meeting with both Grawl and Sith. For the first time, the leaders of both factions sat at the same table without arguing. We've discovered evidence that a third party has been manipulating both of your peoples, Lisa told them. Someone has been stealing minerals and encouraging conflict to hide their activities. Grawl's rocky face showed surprise. Who would dare? Sith's scales rippled with anger. And how do we know this isn't a human trick to unite us under your control? Lisa displayed the evidence on a large screen. Mining records, communication logs, and Karen's analysis of the poison all pointed to the same conclusion. I don't expect you to trust us, Lisa said, but look at the facts yourselves. Someone has been playing us all against each other. Grawl and Sith studied the evidence in silence. Finally, Sith spoke. If this is true, she said slowly, then our peoples have been fighting for nothing. Not for nothing, Lisa corrected, for someone else's profit. As Lisa continued explaining, a message arrived from the Council observer ship. Ambassador John Mitchell was coming to Series 9 personally. The Council wanted answers. Lisa smiled grimly. She had answers now, but not the ones the Council expected. The real enemy wasn't the Morax or the Telvari. It wasn't even the humans who had abandoned their peacekeeping role. The real enemy remained hidden, pulling strings from the shadows, but not for much longer. Ambassador John Mitchell's shuttle landed on Series 9 1 week after Lisa had taken control. He wore his formal diplomatic uniform with the symbol of Earth on his chest. His face was serious as he walked down the ramp. Lisa waited for him at the bottom. She wore her combat uniform, not the peacekeeping blues. It was a clear message about how things had changed. Captain Reeves, John said formally. Ambassador, Lisa replied with a nod. They walked in silence to the command center. Once inside, Lisa ordered everyone else to leave. Only she and John remained. The Council is furious, John said once they were alone. 7 peacekeeping missions have turned into military occupations. This is not what we promised them. Lisa's eyes were hard. And we didn't sign up to be sacrificial lambs. The Council sent us here with minimal weapons and tied our hands while our people were killed. John sighed and sat down heavily. I understand why you did it, Lisa, but the political consequences could be severe. Earth needs the Council's technology and support. We found something you need to see, Lisa said, changing the subject. She activated a large screen on the wall. This isn't just about Morax versus Telvari anymore. John watched as Lisa showed him the evidence they had gathered. Mining records with missing minerals. Communication logs showing messages sent to unknown receivers. Analysis of the poison used against the humans. Someone has been manipulating both sides, John said slowly, understanding dawning on his face. Yes, and I think I know who. Lisa pulled up an image of a sleek ship. This vessel has visited Series 9 6 times in the last year. Each time it registered as a simple trade ship, but its cargo capacity doesn't match the small amounts it supposedly delivered. John leaned forward. That's a Gen design. Exactly. Lisa nodded. The Gen Mercantile Guild. They're not even members of the council. The Gen were a species known for their business skills. They operated on the edges of council space, trading with anyone who had credits to spend. Why would the Gen risk angering the council? John wondered. For the minerals, Lisa explained. Series 9 has rich deposits of neuranium. It's rare and valuable, used in advanced ship engines. By keeping the Morax and Telvari fighting, the Gen could steal small amounts without anyone noticing. John frowned. And when humans arrived as peacekeepers, we became a problem, Lisa finished. If we succeeded in making peace, the missing minerals would be discovered, so they tried to kill us or drive us away. Do you have proof? John asked. Lisa nodded. We intercepted a Gen ship yesterday. It was loaded with stolen neuranium. The captain had records of all their operations here. They've been doing this for years. John sat back, thinking hard. This changes everything. The council needs to know that the situation is more complex than they thought. Will they listen? Lisa asked. They might now, John said with a small smile. Especially when they learn that humans weren't the aggressors here. We were defending ourselves against a third party that was manipulating the situation. The next day, Grawl of the Morax and Sith of the Telvari joined Lisa and John for a meeting. The alien leaders had finally seen the full evidence of how they had been played against each other. The Gen have stolen enough neuranium to buy a small planet, Grawl said angrily, all while our people fought and died over mining rights. Sith's scales had turned a dark green, a sign of her rage. They encouraged our worst instincts, fed us false information about each other, and tried to remove the humans when they got in the way, John added. Lisa looked at both alien leaders. Now, you have a choice: continue fighting each other, which only helps the Gen, or work together to stop them. Grawl and Sith looked at each other for a long moment. Years of hatred didn't disappear in a day, but the evidence of how they had been used was clear. What do you suggest? Sith asked finally. A joint mining operation, Lisa said. Share the resources equally, and work with the humans to catch any remaining Gen agents. To everyone's surprise, Grawl extended his stony hand toward Sith. After a moment's hesitation, she took it. It was not friendship, but it was a start. 2 days later, John addressed the full Galactic Council via holographic transmission. He stood with Lisa, Grawl, and Sith beside him. Esteemed council members, John began. Recent events on Series 9 and other peacekeeping missions have caused concern. Today we present evidence that changes our understanding of these situations. For the next hour, they explained everything they had discovered about the Gen operations, the stolen minerals, the false flag attacks, the attempt to drive humans away when they got close to the truth. The council members listened in stunned silence. When John finished speaking, Chairperson Vreen leaned forward. If this evidence is accurate, Vreen said slowly, then the actions, taken by human peacekeepers while outside their mandate, were justified as self-defense. That is our position, John agreed. Humans are not seeking to become occupiers, but we will not stand by while our people are killed. The council deliberated for several hours. Finally, they reached a decision. The human control of peacekeeping missions would be officially recognized, with new protocols that acknowledged humanity's right to defend itself. Additionally, the council would send investigators to all peacekeeping zones to look for similar manipulation by outside parties. 1 month later, Lisa stood at the window of the command center on Series 9. Outside, Morax and Telvari workers moved about their duties. The fighting had stopped. The joint mining operation was successful beyond anyone's expectations. Sam joined her at the window. The last Gen agent was captured yesterday. That should be the end of it. Lisa nodded. And the Council's new peacekeeping protocols? They're calling them the human protocols now, Sam said with a small smile. All peacekeepers have the right to take necessary action to protect themselves. No more tied hands. Will it last? Lisa wondered. The peace here, or the Council's new understanding of humans? Both, I suppose. Sam shrugged. The Council learned an important lesson about humans. We prefer peace, but we're willing to fight when necessary. In his office on the Harmony Station, Ambassador John Mitchell received the final report from Series 9. He read it with satisfaction. What had begun as a crisis had turned into an opportunity. The Council now understood humans better. Yes, humans made excellent peacekeepers. Not because they were naturally peaceful, but because they understood the true cost of war. They knew when to show restraint and when to take action. The aliens had thought humans were peacekeepers by nature. Now they knew better. Humans were warriors who chose peace when possible and fought when necessary. Next time the Council wouldn't make the mistake of misunderstanding what humans were capable of when pushed too far. John smiled as he closed the report. Humanity's place in the galaxy was more secure now, not despite the crisis, but because of it. Sometimes the path to lasting peace required showing exactly how dangerous you could be when provoked. The peacekeepers had become warriors, and in doing so, had created a stronger peace than anyone had thought possible.